So I want to eventually review every single Disney afternoon show that ever came out. And that sounds a little bit crazy, but honestly, if you really think about it, there isn't that many. It basically, I believe, started with Ducktales or Gummy Bears, whatever one it started with. And it ended, I believe, with Mighty Ducks. It's probably, since I'm going to be talking about that series, I probably should talk about the movies. So I'm going to revisit some nostalgic movies to some people, but movies that kind of suck. I enjoy them, but they still kind of suck. I wanted to start with the Ducktales movie because it's the easiest thing to review. That's kind of how I've been doing things. If something has a movie that I want to review, I'll probably start with the movie, then start with the show. That's just how I'm going to do things. So, Ducktales and the Treasure of the Lost Lamp. It made sense to do a Ducktales movie because Ducktales was this adventure show with these ducks that go on adventures. I mean, that's all it's about. There's a rich duck who goes on adventures with his nephews and a crazy pilot named Launchpad. That's all it's about. And you fight off goons, find buried treasure, whatever you can think of, it happens. DuckTales is a very good show. The original one and the newer one, which I kind of want to talk about both. But I have always said that we can't look at things from the 80s and 90s as if they're perfect quality. Because as much as I like to say I love DuckTales and it's just this great 10 out of 10 perfect show, it's not. It's not. This show had some flaws. And some of those carry over to the movie. This movie is about Scrooge going to find the treasure of Kali Baba and ends up finding a magical genie, and now they're just kind of figuring out with it. One of the main problems I have with DuckTales is it focuses on the kids of the show way too much because, well, yeah, DuckTales, the new one, does that. Difference is, for a modern audience, I guess it's more relatable, the newer ones, and also they're more entertaining. Like, I feel like an adult could watch those ducks, especially since they're voiced by adults, and it's also good comedy. They could watch those characters and enjoy them. Meanwhile, this is just something like only like little kids can enjoy. Huey, Dewey, and Louie are basically the same character. The only reason I remember which one's which is because I think Huey is like a hue of red, and then Dewey is, I can't even tell you. That's how this is. Like, I can't tell you. And Webby is irritating as all hell. She's this little girl. Uncle Scrooge, can I go on the adventure too? Like, she doesn't do anything. I mean, in this movie, she causes problems. She discovers the genie and basically causes problems for everybody else. Doesn't make up for it. She just, the thing about it is Huey, Dewey, and Louie actually contribute to the plot and they help the other characters out. They're useless. She's useless. She's a useless character. Shouldn't have been in this movie. Huey, Dewey, Louie, Scrooge are important in this movie. It's also weird that Launchpad is as unprevalent as he is, since I don't remember how prevalent it was in the original show, but I remember in the reboot he's like a lot more prevalent in that and things like that. I don't know, but he's not that prevalent in this movie, at least. This movie, when they were planning to make this, was going to be like a trilogy of DuckTales movies, which sounds actually pretty cool. They released this in a theater. This was not made by Disney. It was made by Disney Toon Studios. So there's Walt Disney Animation Studios, which makes all their theatrical movies except for like a Goofy movie and this movie and some other random movies like Planes that they release in theaters. Those are all done by Disney Toon, who also did the direct-to-video sequels for Disney movies. A Goofy movie is pretty good. The rest of their work is kind of garbage. I guess you could argue the Tinkerbell movies are alright, which, okay, I kind of agree with that. As someone who grew up watching those, honestly. Why did I watch those? I've seen them all, too. I shouldn't have admitted that on camera. The things I do with my existence. The things I do. Let me know if you want me to review all 6, 7, 800 of the Tinkerbell movies, because there's a lot of those. I hate my life. So, so this movie flopped and they didn't end up making more, which, okay. My thing about it is cartoon animated movies based on TV shows will just about always flop. The only one I could think of that really didn't flop was like Teen Titans Go to the Movies, but that was a very, very, very low budget. Like that almost had no money put into it. It was basically the same animation as the TV show, so it's not high quality. So yeah, I don't think at the end of the day it did good because people actually went to go see it. It did good because of how low the budget was. This movie was very good for what it was, but I can't imagine sitting in a theater and watching this. This isn't a theatrical movie. This is basically an extended episode of Ducktales, which would work great if this was a direct-to-video movie. And it should have started out that way. Disney could have marketed this as a direct-to-video movie. And they could have hyped it up like they do the Disney sequels that they used to do on direct-to-video. Hyped that, put it out, and then once it's out, then it would probably sold better, right? Then they could have made more, and they didn't have to worry about making a ton of money. The animation is kind of an upgrade from television, but not really. I gotta say, though, a lot of people seem to really like this villain from this movie, played by Christopher Lloyd. I didn't really care for him, because he's kind of just a generic evil bad guy. He wasn't all that threatening through the majority of the movie. This is kind of an Aladdin story, with like a genie. And this came out the year before Aladdin. And the genie in this movie sucks compared to that genie. It's kind of sad that he was overshadowed by that character. It's not that this is a bad character. It's just he's not that well written. He's not funny either. He's just most of the movie is actually moping around about being a genie. Because basically he doesn't want to be a genie anymore because he's forced to grant wishes that he never wanted to grant it, and he wanted to live his life. It's also weird, his design, because his design is really weird because, yeah, it works when he's a genie, but then they wish him to be a real boy, and he's got like these thick, hairy eyebrows, and he just doesn't look like the other boys in the movie. But it would have made more sense to me had they made him basically look like a kid after he wished to be a real boy. I don't know. That was kind of weird. I guess that's kind of a spoiler, but really, if you care about DuckTales, the movie spoilers, I'm going to tell you right now, there are better things to worry about in life. Says the guy who saw all the Tinkerbell movies. I can't respond to this like, yeah, I did. I saw the Tinkerbell movies. Ain't that right? I can't justify the fact that I've seen all the Tinkerbell movies. Can I justify that I've seen all of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic either? No, I cannot. I can't justify it. I can say I did it and be a little disappointed in myself and not be able to look at myself in the mirror as a man anymore. What am I talking about? I got a mustache. That means I'm a real man. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Ducktales the movie. It's okay. 6 out of 10.